Hello, folks. Revolver Guy, perfect for poor people. It's getting kind of late this evening. I just want to do a quick little video about a couple things I've had on my mind. Today was a pretty cold day here in the mountains. It's supposed to be pretty chilly tonight, low 20s, maybe even the upper teens. So I didn't get as much done as I wanted to. As far as on the garden front goes, I couldn't find any cabbage plants I really wanted. So now I'm going to hold off on that for just a little bit. Still hope to get some potatoes planted and maybe make a video of that here later this week. As the weather is supposed to start warming up a little bit. But what I want to talk about today was, over the last couple of days, I saw a video put out on YouTube by the Yankee Marshal. Now, I'm not a real big fan of his. I do subscribe to his channel. And I watch him, and he likes to get on there and do a lot of crazy rants and go off about sometimes nonsense. I really do believe he's a good advocate for the Second Amendment, and I do respect him for that. But he kind of gets over the top sometimes, and he's on there basically berating all of his viewers, telling them that they're fat and lazy, that they're never going to stand up for the Second Amendment, that because they don't go to rallies, or maybe they're not sending money to gun channels or the GOA or whoever. He's against NRA, but he's Gun Owners of America and organizations like that. And he's basically just putting it out there that if everything goes down, that the average American, we're not going to stand up. All us gun owners, we're not going to stand up because we won't stand up now, so we won't stand up then. And he's really just being an idiot. He was. And then today, probably one of, if not my favorite channel on YouTube, Survival Prepping for Normal People, he put out a video talking about idealism and what it would take to stand up for what you actually believe in. And it was actually a really good video. I really liked it. And the way he talks about it is, it is hard to, it's easy to sit here on YouTube or make a comment on Twitter or Facebook about what you'll do if this happens and what you'll do if that happens. And then when the time comes, it's going to be a totally different story. So, and for a lot of people, especially people who've never been in that situation, it's going to be pretty rough. Maybe some people aren't sure what they're going to do. I saw a news story on Facebook on CNN about this sheriff out in Colorado who says if the legislature passes these red flag laws that he is not going to enforce them. And now this is a man who's standing up for his ideals. He's really putting something on the line, and I really commend him for that. Of course, CNN's full of liberal, just complete idiots, and they're on there, and they're all running their mouths saying, well, you don't get to pick which laws you want to enforce, and blah, 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 which is a bunch of nonsense because every sheriff, every police officer, every law enforcement officer, and everybody's ever joined the military, and every politician took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States. And if a law violates the Constitution and you really feel it in your heart of hearts, that's what it does, then you have a responsibility not to uphold that law, not to enforce that law, and not to follow the law. And now I'm not coming on here telling everybody to be a bunch of lawbreakers and telling everybody they should just go do whatever they want to. But if a law is against the Constitution, then it certainly should not be followed. Now, of course, that's a good way to get yourself arrested nowadays because there's an awful lot of laws that are against the Constitution. Just about everything this country's done over the last 100 years or more has been against the Constitution. But I tell you, though, I really have a lot of respect for that sheriff because he stood up for his ideals and what he thought was right. And that takes a lot of guts. He's an elected official, but he's going to face a lot of pressure for that if he actually refuses to enforce those red flag laws. And the states all over the country are doing this. They you know, if there was a law that actually protected somebody, it'd be one thing. They just want to be able to come in your home and take your guns just because somebody says that you're a danger. I mean, anybody could say it. Oh, yeah, they could say I'm a danger, and the sheriff can come straight in and take my guns. You know, and that's a bad deal, folks. I tell you, I've served in the military. And I've been in law enforcement my entire life. And I can tell you right now, nobody, law enforcement, military, anywhere else, anything else, nobody is coming in my house and taking my guns. Not without a fight. I promise you that. Now, I've been in a lot of situations, and I've been through a lot of stuff, and I know where I stand, and I know how I feel, and I know what I've been through, so I can say that with the utmost confidence. But survival predator for poor people, Kyle, in there, he had some good points. You know, there are quite a few people that probably, they might say they want to do something, but they really aren't sure how they're going to react when the time comes. So, but then you got this Yankee Marshal, this fool. He's on there just spouting off. He thinks all of us are just going to lay down. You know, I mean, there are millions of veterans, combat veterans in this country that have seen it, that have been there, that signed that check to give their life. And I just find it hard to believe, after serving with those people and working with these people in law enforcement as long as I have, I find it hard to believe that they're just going to lay down, that they're not going to stand up for their ideals and what they say that they're going to do. Now, obviously, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of keyboard warriors on the internet that I have no doubt about. I don't argue that point at all. But I contend there are about 3%, 9 or 10 million people who will stand up when the time comes. Now, the Yankee Marshal, he was giving a lot of talk about we need to be going to rallies and protesting and having our voices heard and things like that. Well, folks, I tell you, that's great. And if you want to do that, go do it. All, you know, more power to you. I don't think it hurts a thing. I don't really think it helps, though, either. I don't think these politicians care what you and I think. Over 50% of this country is liberal, and they don't care what we think about our guns and our gun rights. They don't care. They don't want to hear it. Now, most of these liberals and these leftists don't have the guts to come get the guns themselves. They'll want to send some silly FBI agent or Homeland Security or ATF or something like that in to get them, because it's not like they have the guts to come get them. Because they know what they're up against deep down. They know it. I'm telling you right now, folks, not giving them up under any circumstance. Now, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I've worked in law enforcement my entire life. But I'm not letting the government or some penny-wage liberal in Washington, D.C. or anywhere else tell me what I can and cannot have to protect my family with. I tell you, it really kind of gets to me when they start with this kind of stuff, because I'm just, I feel really strongly about this. It's one of the most important things to me, is the right to defend yourself, not just against a criminal or the bad guy, but against the government. All you have to do is pick up a history book, and you'll see where governments over the centuries have been very dangerous to the people that they govern. You know, the government, we do not work for the government. The government works for us. And it's not going to be long before we're going to have to make a statement. My question is, are you willing to fight the fight? Are you willing to stand up? I hope you are. I hope you're on the team. Because when it comes down to it, all we're going to have is each other. Thank you for watching this video. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd like to hear what other people have to say about the subject. And most importantly, remember, all gun laws are unconstitutional.